My name is Maurice Conry. I live here in New Hampton, Iowa. I enlisted in the U.S. Navy and was transferred into the Seabees, which is a construction battalion. You see on my cap here, that was a slogan. I was carpenter's mate, 3rd class. I was in school. I was a junior in high school, and I enlisted. I was 17 years old. In 1943. I was in the war 2 years, 1 month, and 1 day. Exactly. Well, like I say, I didn't get called to the war. I enlisted because I had a brother. There was 3 in our family in the service. My oldest brother was drafted, and then I had a sister join the WACs, and I joined the Navy. That's one of the reasons I enlisted, because I had a brother and sister in the service, and they were in Germany and England. My sister was in England, my brother in Germany, and they could visit each other. So I wanted to be part of that. So they sent me to the Pacific, and I never could see them. I got a long ways away. They were all supportive of me. My folks hated to see me enlist at such an early age, and especially when I dropped out of high school to join the Navy. It was disappointing to them, but they still supported me. Well, all my friends were, of course, mostly students in school, and a lot of them hated to see me go rather than finish my high school. But I guess I was determined to go, and I enlisted. Well, yeah, I had one Lee McGrain from Alta Vista enlisted with me. But he went to a different, I don't even know what zone he went to. He was in the Navy also. Well, I had a lot of stations. When I enlisted, I went to Chicago, where the Chicago Naval Training Station, and that was 4 weeks of boot camp. And then I went by troop train to Rhode Island, and there we trained for hand-to-hand combat and battle stations on the ship, and so on and so forth. And then we went by troop train again to San Diego, California, where I left for overseas. We didn't know for sure where we were going. The mood was all kind of hypertension because we didn't know what we were going to get into. But we were aboard a troop ship, and it was pretty calm, but it was exciting too. No, nothing really exciting. I was thinking about when we went from Chicago to Rhode Island, and we took training there. And then we had to get on a troop train at that time with a coal-fired engine. And we were on that train 3 or 4 days, and we couldn't take a bath or anything. And that smoke, you couldn't tell what color we were. We were all the same color, black. And that was one of the experiences I had. And then that ship blowing up was another experience, and getting that acid in my face. But basically, we got along real good during service, and I was happy to get out. I could have re-enlisted and made a career out of it, but I didn't want to do that. But one thing I should have done is gone on to school, finished my schooling. But I still made it this far. Oh yeah, we were all one big group, and we supported each other and very much in almost everything we did. I had a lot of support from my troops. My first stop was the Admiralty Islands, which had just been secured by the Marines. It was a station for supplies and the warships, and everything was stockpiled there in Admiralty Islands. And the weather was horrible. It rained it rained every other day. You could take a walk down the street and the sun would be shining, and the next block, why, it would be pouring down rain. The weather, the climate was bad. It was right on, Admiralty Islands are right on the equator. They all were natives, and we communicated a little bit by sign language. A lot of them wanted to smoke, and they'd have you got a cigarette. And at that time, I didn't smoke, so I didn't have cigarettes. The Army, Navy, and Marines, you know. But we had the Seabees, which was a branch of the Navy. And it was construction battalion is what it was. And that's, I don't know if it shows on the cap or not. Yeah, that was a logo of the Seabees. A lot of people got tattooed, but I never got tattooed. Yeah, we spent long days, and it was heavy duty work. I was in the motor pool and worked on a lot of heavy equipment, which was changing engines from one truck to another and changing transmissions and tires. And we'd take a truck that had a bad engine and find another truck that was junk that had a good engine. You'd have to put one over there. And it was a lot of hard, heavy-duty work because we didn't have hoists, we just had manpower. So it was hard work. We were to build warehouses, depots, build docks, build roadways, and airstrips for the incoming boats and airplanes. My job was, at this time, was rebuilding batteries from one truck to another, and we'd take them apart so we could make a good battery to put in another truck. And my only injury was one of the batteries blew up while I was changing it, went in my face, and that was kind of a close experience. And the guy that really saved me took me by the neck, and at that time we had our water bags, and that's how we got our water. You had a little faucet on the end, and you could drink that. And he took me and put me on the ground. And he took his knife and cut the water bag and almost drowned me, but it didn't. The acid didn't hurt me. So I'm grateful to him for his quick thinking, because that battery acid is bad stuff. But the average day was about 15 hours of work, and the rest was sleep. It was a lot of hard work. They worked us really hard. We unloaded ships and run tractors and maintainers, and whatever was needed to be done, we done. And it was big, long days. All our letters, all our mail was read. And I had several letters from home, the neighbors on the farm and some of my school friends. And yeah, we had communications, but everything was opened and read before we got it. And if we sent mail out, it was read, so we weren't giving out any critical information to the enemy. So it was pretty tight for mail. So it was pretty. You mean when I was in service or overseas, we had our tent built right by the motor pool, and I worked in the motor pool. So I didn't have to walk very far when I was overseas. But when I was in the States, we done a lot of marching and training, and 2-3 miles at a time to get in shape. But after I was in, I didn't have to walk very far to go to work. They were pretty bad. I slept in foxholes for 3 nights when we got in Okinawa. In the Admiralty Islands, it was real, like I said, it was real buggy and rained every day, and we had our own little pup tent, but we had nets that we put over us so we could sleep. Otherwise, mosquitoes and bugs and termites and whatever there was would get at us. So sleeping was not the best. Food was typical military food, scrambled eggs and bacon, and we used to have food on a shingle. And it wasn't the best. We had some K rations, which we had to eat at first on Okinawa, but basically it was okay. We survived. We'd done a lot better than some of the troops that were in the front lines. And I remember when we got to California, we were going to go overseas, and they gave us a 2-week leave to go home before we went overseas. And I didn't have any money to get back to Iowa. And I phoned my folks, and they didn't have much money either, but they finally came up with enough to, West Union wired me money, and I got home to see the folks before I went home overseas. So I didn't have had a lot of fun while I was in the service. It was, like I say, we had the average age of a CB was 37 years old. And some of them were up to 50 years old enough to be my dad. And the reason for that, of course, the CBs weren't made until 1943, right after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. That's when they decided they need a construction battalion to build airstrips, roadways, and what have you, after an area was secured. Scariest thing? Probably when we were in Admiralty Islands and we were unloading a supply ship, and there was a ship in the harbor that just blew up. It shook, I bet you, 50 miles. And we didn't know what happened. We all took cover, and I still don't know what set that ship off, but it was an ammunition ship, and it blew to smithereens. There was nothing left of it. And that was the closest and scariest thing I think that I had happen, because I wasn't sure what was going on. I was in Okinawa when the war ended. I guess I'll always remember it, because the island hasn't been secured that long. And one evening, the battleships out offshore started firing, and we thought we were getting bombed again. We got bombed at Okinawa regularly. And we thought we were getting bombed again, and we all went into the foxhole. And we didn't know until morning that the war ended, and that's why they were shooting up in the air. But I was hiding. Make any friends during the war? A whole bunch of friends. Everybody in our outfit, we were all friends. Oh, probably my friends in school and the sports and what we did, because I was just a junior in high school and had a lot of friends in my junior year. So I missed all of them. And some of them graduated and went on into service also. I just went quicker. Oh, very well, very well. It seemed like America really appreciated all the servicemen that were in, and we had a lot of respect for being a veteran from the war. I was really appreciative of that. In those days, if you put on your uniform and hitchhiked, you always got a ride wherever you were going. People were very, very appreciative and friendly. Well, I was only in there 2 years, and it was not a lot of changes. We lived on a farm. I came home, and we only had an 80-acre farm, and so I tried to stay with Dad and the family a little bit, but there just wasn't enough to support all of us. So I went to work. I was in the motor pool, remember? So I went to work for the Case Company in New Hampton here, and it was real easy to get a job. Men were needed. Life was like pretty much normal. Well, I don't know as though it was so much life-changing. Remember, I was just a junior when I enlisted, and I wanted to go to war because I had a brother and sister in there. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I took a what do you call it, correspondence course, and I never did finish that even. I don't know why. I had the opportunity. There was programs available, you know, to go to school, and my folks never pushed it, I guess, and I never took advantage of it. But I wish I would have. My advice is to everybody, finish high school. I got some battle bars because we were in battle zones all the time, and especially when we went from Admiralty Islands to New Caledonia, and then New Caledonia to Okinawa. And our troop ship had, I think it was 4 or 5 destroyer escorts. And every once in a while you'd see them take off and drop a landmine. They were looking for Japanese subs in the area that were after the troop ship. But that was scary. I'm very grateful to be here today. I'm grateful that I could serve with and help fight the war. I was grateful for that, and I didn't have any close calls or didn't worry too much about losing my life at that age. I'd try anything. But I'm very grateful because I came through service real good. I've had when we got out of service, I remember the 52-20 Club, World War II. They'd give you all 20 bucks a week for 52 weeks. Lived on. But I'm very grateful to be here, and at my age, World War II veterans are getting thinner and thinner and losing population pretty fast. Well, advice, I guess I'd thank them for being concerned enough to volunteer for the military. And for Lord's sake, be careful and be well trained. I know they go through a lot of training, and they better take it seriously because it's real life over there. It's dangerous, and protect their life and protect the life of others, and that's what they're doing. I don't know if there wasn't much change from 1943 to 1945, but from 1945 till now, there's been all kinds of changes. When I got out, we paid, I think it was 32 cents for a gallon of gas, and and it was rationed at that because you could only you had green stamps and you could only go so many miles or so much gallons. And it was pretty limited. Sugar was limited, everything was rationed, and then as we recovered from the war, why, that all changed. But cost-wise, for living expenses and everything, there's been a lot of changes, Got married after the war and been married ever since. 56 years. I got married in 1952. 6 children. We lost 2 of them, but we still got 4 beautiful children left. Scattered in North Carolina and Arkansas and Dubuque, I guess. And we got, I think, 14 great-grandchildren now. So our family is going to be here a while.